All right, so I pulled the carburetor off. I was not gonna film rebuilding this. You guys saw in the last episode, when I took it for a test drive, the car started stalling. And as soon as I started taking the carburetor apart, when the choke cap popped off, look at all that debris in there. All those metal flakes. Now what I'm thinking that could have possibly come from was I started running the hot air tube from the exhaust manifold up into the choke here. And in order to install this, I had to drill out the old metal that was left over from the previous heat riser tube that was stuck in the manifold. I don't know if it's possible that everything I drilled out when I first started the car got sucked up out of the exhaust manifold and into here. That's my first guess, but I'm gonna keep tearing this apart. I'll keep you posted. We'll see. So I just dumped the gas and the fuel bowl out. It's kind of hard to see in here, but there's still tons of debris getting into the fuel bowl. So I'm not sure what's going on with the filter system I have set up, but something's not working here. So just pulled off the filter. This was an older filter I had that I installed in the line, and it does appear to be broken. I don't think that's working properly. I still can't figure out how, because I have a new fuel pump with a new filter running fuel up to this. So where's the debris coming from, unless there's just a bunch of debris in this filter that's now floating around and getting through here where it broke. I don't know. Not sure. But I'm getting frustrated because there is all kinds of dirt in my line and I can't figure out where it's coming from. Just out of curiosity, I'm going to turn the engine over a couple times and pump some fuel out of the new fuel filter and line into this cup to see if there's any debris in there. I have the coil disconnected, so the thing won't actually try to start. Hopefully I don't start a fire. And there is a ton of debris in that. See all that down in there? That is coming directly from the new fuel pump up the new line into that cup. So there's something really wrong here. Wow, that's a ton of debris. I can't wrap my head around this. So I've been thinking about this, and it has been driving me nuts trying to figure out where the debris is coming from. And my conclusion at this point is this cheaper fuel line. If you look at it in there, it's white on the inside, if you can see it. I think it's deteriorating, and that's why I'm getting that black powdery debris. That is cheap fuel line. So I think the new fuel pump and fuel line is working, but because I have this cheap old fuel line running into the carb, debris is coming from this. That's my theory. I pulled this off and it does seem to be filtering. I mean, my only basis for that is there's a filter in there. However, I picked up fuel injected line. This meets low permutation requirements for carb executive order. So this is good stuff. It's not cheap, but I'm replacing all my rubber fuel lines with this. Before I do that, I will be pulling this line off and cleaning it out just to be safe. I'm just going to spray carb cleaner through it. We're going to replace everything. We have a new inline fuel filter to put in, and we're going to give this a go. And I'm going to take this off too, because I don't need this clogging up the new fuel pump and fuel filter. So that's the plan. Right, so it's been several days, not even sure where I left off last. Everything's back together. I've had it running. I've redone all my idle adjustments. my idle mixture screw adjustment and my pedal speed adjustment. And we're gonna see how it starts. It's cold, and we'll see how she sounds idling and if she starts, because it's cold and I'm not quite sure I have the choke adjusted properly yet, but we'll see. Guess I might have done something right. Now, I don't know. For all I know, we could still have debris going up into this system, into the car. I don't think we are, because I've got the new hose installed. Let's see how it sounds. So no more miss. Sounds pretty good. We're gonna get moving on to prepping and priming panels so we can get this thing back together. She is looking good though. So we gotta prep and prime the fenders, the remaining panels here, and the quarter panel extensions. I don't think I'm missing anything. Yeah. That's what we're gonna do now. We're gonna start sanding. And I'm just going to believe that carburetor is not getting clogged up until I get stalled again along the side of the road. And we'll deal with it then. Also, check out my cool new additions to the garage. We got some Duster theme stuff in here now. Quite happy with it. Made those myself. All right, let's do some scuffing. All right, so we're knee deep in prepping all these panels, the remaining panels for the Iron 6. I took 36 grit on an angle grinder, and I just stripped down the bumpers on the outside as best I could, and then I wire brushed the inside really good, and I'm currently in the process of putting some coats of Rust-Oleum on the inside, and then we're just going to see how well the epoxy primer sticks to the outside of these bumpers. There's still some areas I missed there. The idea is to get a very rough surface for the primer to stick to, and we'll just see how long it lasts. We'll drive it like that. That's the plan. Trip down the inside of the rock guard and the front valance, and I put Rust-Oleum on those. It looked to me like all they had on them was the factory primer. Fortunately, they were in very good condition, so that's just an extra layer of precaution. All I could get at the store was gloss black. Rust-Oleum right now is really hard to find on the shelves, so that's what I threw on there. Not real concerned about it. I got to scuff the inside and outside of the fenders. I did the test on those where you hold the lacquer thinner on there and see if it comes off. If it doesn't come off, some guys say it's okay to paint over. Some guys say you should still strip it. I'm going this route. I did the same thing on my quarter panels, so that's what I'm doing. Anyway, I'm not recording much of this just because it's pretty boring, so I'm just going to keep coming back with updates, and hopefully tomorrow, if everything's prepped properly, we'll be spraying epoxy primer. Alright guys, as it usually goes when I'm prepping panels and getting them ready, I didn't film much because it's boring stuff, but all the panels are prepped. They've been sanded and then degreased. I got to get moving because we're supposed to get rain later today. The humidity is a little higher than I'd want it to be, but I mean, I'm working with the time I have when I have it, so we're going to try it and see how we make out. So I'm going to set you guys up on a tripod and I'm going to prime. All right, coat 1 is done. I am by no means a professional doing this. My technique is not the best. A lot of times I don't finish my stroke the whole way across the panel. Still learning, but had a little bit of a struggle getting enough primer down. In the beginning, I had to make some adjustments to the gun. Ultimately, I need to be moving slower, I think. So the second coat should go a lot better. I'm gonna do 2 coats, and we'll see how everything looks after that. So now we're gonna wait 30 minutes and we'll be back. And it looks like we have storms moving in, so I gotta get moving. All right, it's now several hours later. Got all the panels down on the floor. They were dry enough that I could take them down. I'm still really careful because it takes them a long time to really harden, and it's real easy to get, like on the door here, it's real easy to smooth it out and get a different finish. Pretty much everything went off without a hitch, except I dropped that guy right there whenever I was laying him down, so the headlight bezel area's got some scratches, but for the most part, everything looks really good. Fenders turned out good. The only other thing, and this is just part of it, I guess, painting with the doors open, these little flies. You see that? It got in there, and then it managed to crawl all the way up here. I mean, those are just the chances you take whenever you paint stuff like right there. There's a bug. I swear bugs are attracted to the fumes that come off paint, because it's insane the way stuff lands on all your panels and stuff when you're painting them. But I could have pulled out the pop-up tent that I had, but I mean, today was a good day to do it, and I just didn't have all the time in the world to do that, so I just decided to try it in the garage. And I'm still, like I said, I'm happy with it. It's not going to be a show car. It's going to be a fun car to drive, and the bumpers look pretty good. Honestly, better than I expected, but when I stripped them down, they both had a decent amount of pitting on them, so it's kind of hard to see here, but they do have, I don't know if you guys can see that or not. They are a little bit gritty, but I'm happy with it. So yeah, that's how everything turned out. Unless I don't think I missed anything. I think that is all the panels for the car, so now it's just reassemble it. What I'll do now is I have this set on the dehumidifier, so I'm just going to keep the humidity low in the garage. That's blowing air. I've got that circulating, got that box fan circulating air, just to help everything cure really good overnight. So we'll see how it turns out. That's everything for now. Hopefully the next episode doesn't take as long as what this one did. We'll see. So until the next episode, guys, stay driven.